Good evening, and we are live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this live session. It's Sunday evening, and I hope you had a great day. I just had a very cool session with Women in Consulting and Christina Choi. We talked about salary negotiation and promoting hacks. It was a pretty cool topic and was a pretty cool session. And if you missed it, then please make sure that you join the session next time. Follow Women in Consulting. It's really a great account, especially obviously for women in management consulting. And yeah, they will do several sessions like we just had earlier. That will help you to become great in management consulting. So cool. If you join, then as always, please let me know where you come from and let me know how your Sunday was. Obviously, I'm very interested. My Sunday was quite busy because I had to prepare some content, but nevertheless, it was pretty cool. So if you are in the chat right now, then please write where you come from and how your Sunday was. And today we have a cool topic. We will talk about how to build a six-figure net worth with your management consulting salary. And in this video, I want to share my experience of my own journey of building a net worth, but it's not about me. It's more about sharing my lessons learned and the tips or the kind of knowledge that I gained over the last 3 years in management consulting. And I hope that this helps you to build your financial freedom. And hopefully this is interesting for you. And it's the first time here on YouTube and on Instagram probably that I share financial tips. So let me know if you're interested in that. And then maybe I will do some more deep dives. As always, if you have any questions, then please write them in the chat. I will go through the content first. And after that, I will start... please write the questions in the chat, and after that, and I will first go through the content, and after that, I will answer the questions. Good. So tech is working. Then I would say let's start. So how can you build a six-figure net worth in management consulting with your management consulting salary? In this video, I will share my lessons learned and tips that you achieve your financial goals. Hi everyone, my name is Johannes Niari and welcome to this channel. Welcome to Mastering Consulting. And on this channel, I want to help you to learn the necessary skills to be successful in management consulting while simultaneously living a well-balanced private life. And today we have a great topic. We will talk about how to build a six-figure net worth with your management consulting salary. In this video, I will share my own experience and the kind of lesson learned that I had over the last 3 years. And I hope to help you. It's not about me, this video, it's about you. And I hope that I can help you and get you one step closer to achieve your financial goals. As always, let me start with a short backstory. So when I graduated from university, I was in debt, okay? So I had some debt due to my studies, so it was hard for me to find a job back then at the very beginning. So I thought, okay, in order to concentrate more on my on my studies, I took a loan and from the bank. So I was in debt. It was around 20k euro or USD. Back then it was pretty much the same, that I had like during my studies. Then a couple of years later, so after 3 years of working in management consulting, my net worth is above 100k USD and euros, both actually. And today I want to share my lessons learned and my tips for you on how to achieve that. Again, I mean, this is not to flex or something. I mean, for some people, 100k as net worth is ridiculously low. For some people, I mean, that's out of the range of their imagination. It doesn't matter. I mean, I just want to share some tips that helped me to build my kind of financial independency, and I hope that this also helps you. Okay, so it's not about me, it's not about flexing, it's exactly the opposite. I want to kind of make you or put you in this position to kind of build your own net worth. Okay, so that's as a caveat, and that as an opening remark. Everything I will share today is based on my own experience, and these are all tips that I also applied. Okay, so it's not one of those fake guru sessions where I share dubious tips. No, it's all based on my own experience, obviously. Okay, so with that being said, let's start. So as I just said, I was 20K in debt when I started studying. 3 years after being a management consultant, I built a net worth above 6 figures. And the big question is, how did I do it? And I will share like 4 tips, and at the end, a couple of power tips, okay? And hopefully they bring value to you. So tip number 1 is that you set a very clear financial goal for yourself. Okay, so this might be a short-term goal, but also a long-term goal. So what do I mean by that? I think it's very important from a very, very early stage that you start thinking about, okay, where do you want to be like in 10 years, in 20 years, and what is the kind of financial end game? Okay, and this is very important to kind of set the aspiration level. And you should decide if you simply want to become financially independent, if you simply, I don't know, want to have a high living standard, or if you want to be a millionaire, if you want to be a multimillionaire sometimes, or if you even want a billionaire, okay? It's very important that from the very beginning, you start thinking about that question, because, I mean, especially the years in your 20s and in your early 30s, they really have a big influence on what kind of financial level you will play in the future. Okay, so think about that question as early as possible, and kind of try to define a range. And it's both in the long run and in the short run. Okay, so I usually kind of set goals for me for the next 20 to 30 years, but I also have very clear goals for the upcoming year. Okay. And it's also very important to not only say, okay, I want to be a millionaire, for example. It's also very important to ask yourself, why do you want to be a millionaire? For example, if you want to become a millionaire. Okay, the reason for that is that, I mean, only like this number will not trigger anything in us. Okay, it will not motivate us. We really need a deep reason. Okay, maybe we want to have a certain lifestyle. Maybe we want security for our family. Okay, maybe I don't know. We want that fancy car or that fancy house. It really doesn't matter. Maybe we want a status. Okay, and the network. It doesn't matter what the reason is, but you have to be very clear about what the reasons are for your financial goal. Okay, so sit down and set clear goals, and reflect upon the why. Okay, reflect upon why you want to achieve that goal. Also, it's very important, and this is a saying that you probably know, most people overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year, and they underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years. Okay, so set very, very high goals, even maybe uncomfortable goals for the next 10 years, but be a little bit more conservative if you talk about, or if you set goals for the upcoming year. Okay, that as a final remark. So this is tip number 1, set very, very clear financial goals, both for the long run and for the short run. Tip number 2 is, and that's a very important tip, is that you set a clear saving rate for yourself that is acceptable, and that you stick to it. So what do I mean by that? It's very important that if you receive a monthly salary, that you predefine a certain percentage that you will save and put aside no matter what. Okay, so it doesn't matter to be honest, like what the percentage is. This can be 5%, this can be 10%, 50%, or well above 50%. It doesn't matter. Okay, and you also, I mean, you shouldn't kind of save yourself to death. You also, I mean, you work hard to also have a lot of fun. Okay, so I mean, don't save the majority of your salary if you are not having a nice weekend, for example, because you're only trying to save money without ever spending it for having fun. Okay, so set a saving rate that is comfortable for you, but make sure that you keep that saving rate no matter what. Okay, this is very, very important. One thing that can help you to stick to that saving rate is that you automate your accounts. Okay, so what I do, for example, is when I receive my monthly salary, I have a kind of automated transferal to my saving account of a certain percentage. Okay, so I don't have to think about it. It's all done automatically, and this kind of protects me from myself, that I don't kind of get tempted to I don't know, using that money that is saved for my saving account and not to spend it kind of for consumption. Okay, so this is very important. So tip number 2 is that you set a clear saving rate and that you stick to it. Tip number 3, and this is also a very important one, is that you invest in yourself. Okay, and most people, I mean, even if they only have a small sum to invest, I mean, they love to debate about what kind of stocks you should pick, what kind of portfolio you should choose, what is the newest shit that you should invest in, like, I mean, currently cryptocurrencies and so on. And they spend a lot of time figuring out the best possible investments, even if they only have like $1,000 to invest. And what I think what most people miss is the point that, especially at the beginning, the most important and the best investment that you can make is the investment in yourself. And I will give you a very a concrete example. So let's say you have 10K, so $10,000 as a saving, okay? And this is a sum that you can invest. Then most people spend hours and hours and hours figuring out how to best invest their 10K. And on average, let's say you make about 10% return on invest. So this means that you, from those 10K, you make 1K per year. If you have a very good portfolio and kind of get those 10%, then you get 1,000 euro per year with the invested 10,000. Very easy, okay? And even if you're an outstanding investor and you make 20%, we talk about 2,000 per year. Now, imagine that you spend all the time that you try to figure out what the right portfolio is, what kind of stocks you should pick. Imagine that you take the time and maybe some of the money of the 10K to not invest in the market, but to rather invest in yourself, okay? And this means, for example, reading books, learning new skills, consuming good content on social media that brings you further professionally and privately. Imagine that you would spend the time, but also the money to learn new skills and to kind of invest in yourself. Then my assumption would be that your salary increase that you are able to achieve is way higher than the 1,000 or 2,000 that you would have if you would have invested money in the market. Okay, so think about it. This is very important, and I see so many young consultants, spending a lot of time trying to figuring out how to invest 5,000 euro, their initial savings. But I think what they totally forget is that they self are the best investment. Okay, so this is tip number 3: invest in yourself. Tip number 4, and this is basically my investment portfolio theory, is that you distinguish between a beta portfolio and an alpha portfolio. Okay, so what do I mean by that? A beta portfolio is typically a portfolio where you have a high rate of diversification. This leads to average returns, but also to a very low risk. This is what is called a beta portfolio, okay? An alpha portfolio is quite the opposite, okay? So this is not diversified. This is kind of very focused on a few assets. It's high risk, high return asset, and it's much more volatile than a beta portfolio, obviously. If you guys are kind of, have a little bit of knowledge in the investing world, then you know that the beta portfolio and all the diversification is more like Ray Dalio. So he's a very famous hedge fund manager. This is his philosophy. And the kind of alpha portfolio is more like Warren Buffett. Okay, so only having a few assets, but having a kind of competitive advantage. And I think it's very important to, if you invest, think in those two categories. Okay, so a part of my money I put in a beta portfolio, and my goal here is not to lose. Okay, so this is like typically ETFs and stuff, where that are pretty predictable, kind of a high diversification. This is the kind of beta portfolio strategy, and this is a certain percentage of my portfolio. On the other hand, I have also an alpha portfolio. This is another percentage where I really am willing to take risks. For example, cryptocurrencies recently. So I invested a sum in cryptocurrencies, but also very important, not everything of my money, obviously, because I still have something in my better account. Okay, and even if like my alpha portfolio is very volatile, then it's no problem because I never can lose everything because I still have something in my better portfolio. Okay, and this is tip number 4 that I can give you. Think in better and alpha portfolio if you invest your money. Now, tip number 5 are like 3 power tips, okay? And I will do this very quickly. So, power tip number 1 is that you don't take consumer debts, okay? So, I know many people, especially in consulting, that if they got their new job and then obviously they want to move to a great city, then they want to have a fancy apartment, and obviously at the beginning they cannot afford it, so they take on a consumer loan, and they are in debt from the very start, but not to invest in themselves but rather for consumption. And I can highly recommend not to do this, okay? Because guys, from an investing perspective, consumer debt is the worst thing that you can ever do, okay? Because I mean, this is just a cost position and doesn't bring any return. So I highly recommend not to do that. The second power tip that I can give you in terms of financial security is that you follow people who are already where you are, okay? There are so many fake gurus out there who tell you, if you invest in this portfolio, you get 300%, without any risk in 2 days, right? And I mean, there's so much crap out there, and it's really hard to get through the noise and really to follow those people who know how to invest. Therefore, I highly recommend to do some research and to find people that you trust and to find people who already are where you want to be and follow them, okay? And try to learn from them how to invest, okay? And don't spend like, thousands of euro in some, shady online course with a guy who earns his money by selling you courses, okay? So try to find the people who really did what you want to do, okay? And follow them. And the last investment tip that I can give you, or power tip that I can give you, is that conventional wisdom is most likely always wrong. Okay, what do I mean by that? So if your parents are no millionaires, I mean, maybe some of you have parents who are millionaires, but if they aren't, and if they are not wealthy, then please don't follow their investment advice, okay? Because obviously they don't know how to do it. And I mean, I'm not blaming them because they never learned how to invest, but don't make the mistake to follow like your family, your friends, and all of those people around you who have no idea about how to make money or about how to invest money, but of course they have great advice for you, okay? So don't make this mistake, and because that's what I call conventional wisdom, and this is most likely always wrong. Also, be very cautious with information that you get from the media, especially like, I mean, there are some good publications about investing, but there are only a few out there, okay? So most, even of the kind of renowned investment magazines and so on, in my opinion, are not very useful to build a good net worth, because what if everyone knows how to do it, then no one knows how to do it in investment, okay? To outperform, you need to take calculated risk, and you need to bet against the majority of people, okay? This is the essence of investment. So that's why conventional wisdom is most likely always wrong, okay? So that are my tips, and I can go through the chat in a second, but just to recap, okay? So my tip number 1 is to set clear financial goals, both for the long term and the short term. My second tip for you is that you set a clear saving rate, or that you define a clear saving rate and stick to it no matter what. The third tip that I can give to you is that you invest in yourself first, okay? This is very, very important. The fourth tip is that you, if you invest, distinguish between a better and a alpha portfolio in order to balance your risk. And last but not least, my power tips. So first of all, no consumer debts. Second, follow people who already are where you want to be. And third, don't follow conventional wisdom because it's most likely always wrong. These were my 5 tips for you. And if you are on YouTube and want to receive usually more videos about management consulting, today we did more like a mindset and private finances topic. But usually this channel is about management consulting. If you don't want to miss any videos about how to learn the necessary skills to have a successful career in management consulting while at the same time living a well-balanced private life, then please subscribe to this channel, hit the bell, and also if you have any questions, leave a comment. And on Instagram, I will go through the chat questions in a second after I finish the YouTube video. And with that being said, I hope you have a great evening. Talk to you soon. Goodbye. Good. So I will go through the questions now. If you have any questions on Instagram, then please just write them in the chat. I will open the chat in YouTube and check if there are any questions. Okay, there are no questions on YouTube. Okay, then let's go to Instagram. But the chat was very inactive. Okay. I see people from Germany, people from India, great. India again. If you have any questions, then just write in the chat. I received a question on YouTube. By the way, do you still play the drums? Maybe even in a group, since it can be very nice side income, especially since you can indicate many spendings for the tax declaration. Zimtiv, it's a great question. I do still play the drums, but not professionally. I mean, my week as a management consulting is so busy that I need to take the weekends as a break. So I do play the drums, but only like for myself, okay, and not professionally anymore, because I mean, even though you can earn some good music in if you do it professionally, but compared to my consulting salary, my weekends are not worth it for me personally, not to get the rest and to play all the night. So I do play the drums, but only for for fun and not for money anymore. Good. Do you have any more questions? Well, to be honest, I thought this video would be more polarizing. But as I see, people are either not interested in finances or my content was too soft. I'm not sure about that. Okay, good. Then if there are no questions, then let's keep it short because I have to go to bed anyway. Okay, so if you have any follow-up questions, as always, you can write me on Instagram and just send me a direct message and I will read and hopefully answer it within a day. Sorry guys, I know many of you wrote me some messages last week and I couldn't answer all of them, but I will do that as soon as possible. It's just because I was very busy the last weeks. The last days, sorry, and hopefully I will find time to answer all of your questions within the next 2 to 3 days. Okay, good. So that being said, then if there are no more questions, thank you for taking the time to watch this video and to be with me. I hope you have a great rest of the Sunday evening and a great start to the week next tomorrow, and I wish you a very great evening and talk to you soon. Talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.